What are coral reefs? Coral reefs are spectacular. They're the gardens of the oceans. They're old. They're amongst the oldest ecosystems on Earth. They're a home, habitat for over 1 million diverse species. They're a source of food, seedbeds for a myriad of species. They're a source of income. Millions of humans depend on them. They're a barrier that protects. They prevent the ocean from destroying our shoreline. And they're a medicinal source. Their contribution to medicine is immense. Coral reefs are truly the rainforests of the oceans.
Teeming with life, busting at its seams, struggle and survival fostering the glow of shifting light from within its breath. Darkened corners breed life, alien forms challenge our perceptions. Coral reefs are glorious mixtures of the odd and beautiful. It is within their bounty the foundation of the oceans exist.
Did you think you were the smallest thing in the world when even you were a child? Just imagine how big the ocean is. People think it's endless, that it'll go on forever. There's nothing one person can do to make a difference. But there is. And just like you're one small person that does matter, the coral is one small organism that really matters.
Diving into coral reef, what do I see? What do I feel? The incredible, beautiful megacity built by the most talented and creative architects of our planet, the corals. Living space for an enormous amount of different species, many of them not even discovered yet. Yes, there is life everywhere. I feel admiration and respect when I dive the fragile wonder world of coral reefs, and I could spend hours watching its beauty, feeling myself close to the core of life itself.
Even if coral reefs offered nothing more than aesthetic value, they would still be precious assets, well worthy of protecting.
For me, coral reefs are a happy place, a creative place.
When I started making these photographs, the magic was all about being able to capture a landscape view of a colorful coral reef. Normally, you can't even take a picture like this because of all the water. But by taking hundreds of photos up close and assembling them together on a computer, I'm able to preserve the true color and details in a wide seascape. As I started to spend more time on reefs, I began to realize that these images are much more than just a picture of a reef. They're a portrait of a whole community of animals living together in an ecosystem. My personal hope is that my images can help people begin to appreciate the ocean as a community that is an extension of our own communities on land, interconnected with our whole existence. With over 700 species of coral, Tubataha Reefs Marine Park in the Philippines is one of the ocean's richest environments, considered by many to be the center of marine biodiversity on the planet. As a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Tubataha is a protected sanctuary in an area that is also high on the list for endangerment. Conservation measures here are strictly enforced. Sipadan Island is a protected marine sanctuary in the Celebes Sea, with huge schools of pelagic fish, pristine coral reefs, and an abundance of sea turtles. Reef conservation here seems to be working. The Malaysian government is actively enforcing the protection of the reefs by restricting fishing, allowing only registered tourism operators, and limiting the number of visitors to the island each day. Orange Canyon on Grand Cayman is a great example of the diversity of marine environments in our oceans. Named for the abundance of huge orange elephant ear sponges, the reef here is covered in brightly colored sponges of all sizes.
Since I was a kid growing up in the Virgin Islands, one of my favorite aspects of snorkeling over a coral reef was just listening to the staccato crackles, pops, and subtle creaks generated by the creatures of this complex environment. Even at that young age, it was clear that coral was a foundation, both literal and figuratively, of everything that thrives and evolves in this wonderland of colorful activity.
In this painting, I wanted to show one of Earth's most complex and beautiful ecosystems. Coral reefs support a variety of marine species, creating shelter and food for organisms small and large. Coral reefs are among the most heavily utilized and economically valuable resources. Today, coral reefs face multiple threats to their health. With awareness and conservation, we can help to maintain these incredible ecosystems for future generations.
Over the past decades, mankind has laid to waste 20% of all reefs, and we have severely degraded a further 20%. We've poisoned coral reefs through pollution and destructive fishing. We've suffocated coral reefs through ill-thought-out development. We've overfished coral reefs, leaving them devoid of species that bring balance to the ecosystem. We've bombed coral reefs in pursuit of a rapid catch. We've mined coral reefs to use as building materials. Unless we change now, humankind will descend to a first in our history, the destruction of an entire planetary ecosystem. This could happen this century.
The effects human beings have on a reef are clear and visible. I notice that many of us actually feel ashamed when we look under the surface and realize how much harm we have done. This is a problem that stems from our belief that we are separate from nature. We are nature. To move on, we must open our eyes and acknowledge what we have done. We can begin the process of healing nature by starting with ourselves. Release any shame and guilt. Meditate, practice mindfulness, then take action. Everyone has a talent and a role. Find yours. Be the change. Love nature.
Butterfly fish are always found as pairs on the reef. If you see one, surely another is close by. Since their reef was fragmented by dynamite fishing, this pair is leaving their home in search for a new place to play. Hopefully, their journey will be short, but at least they'll always remain friends forever.
The exquisite diversity and complexity of coral reef organisms provide countless opportunities for scientific discovery and artistic inspiration. I realized that by sculpting the organisms I was studying, I could use art to inspire people to understand and care about ocean ecosystems in a deeper, more emotional way. I created Our Changing Seas, a coral reef story, as my master's thesis project in environmental studies at Brown University. At first approach, one stands before what appears to be a healthy coral reef full of diversity and vibrancy. As you look upwards, however, the hand-sculpted ceramic reef appears to bleach as a reaction to climate change. Towards the top, slimy gobs of green algae smother dead coral skeletons, showing the impacts of fertilizer runoff and overfishing. But there's hope. A bright red branching coral emerges from the algal ruins 15 feet up on the top right corner of the piece, signifying that we can still reverse our environmental impacts to help coral reefs recover and even thrive.
Some interesting projects have been set up to try and help the corals, and one of these is in Bali. In Pemuteran, in the north of the island, is a small resort, Pondok Sari. Their house reef is home to a pioneering coral growing project. A cluster of futuristic-looking structures emit low-voltage electrical currents that allegedly speed up the growth of certain corals by 5%. This artificial reef project, known as Karang Lestari, is protected by some local people referred to as the reef gardeners, and the structures have created the perfect nursery for juvenile reef fish and a myriad of other marine life.
I create designer, coral and fish nurseries, a symbiosis of art with life. And as with life, the sculptures evolve. As the fish, animals, plants and corals move in, some just for a quick visit, as a shelter perhaps from a passing predator, others as their permanent home. I love this unpredictable unfolding and ever-unchanging aspect of the living sculptures in the sea. Sculpture underwater offers a distinct interactive experience, with the unique life that lives in and on them, as well as being able to swim down and around them, a freedom that only art in water can generate. The creative potential is very exciting. I love that art can help nature at the same time as being beautiful. The Coral Goddess is located in Pemuteran, Bali. Corals have been transplanted onto the lotus flower base that is brought to life by biorock, a coral restoration method which uses a gentle electrical current to enhance coral growth and survival rates. The power generated in this project by wind and solar. Several species of coral have naturally settled on the Dewi's tree goddess carved from volcanic rock. Damselfish and snapper are among the variety of sea creatures that have made it their home. Blessed during a traditional Balinese ceremony, the coral goddess is a symbol of inspiration, preservation, and value for our marine treasures.
During the past decade, the Royal Thai Navy has scuttled a number of decommissioned World War II ships. The first such project took place in 2003 with the sinking of LSF 469. Since that day, over a dozen ships have been set on the seabed around the shores to create artificial reefs. Sunken ships provide a substrate for the anchorage of microorganisms that drift with the current. The large surface area and varying depth provide a perfect platform for marine ecosystem to develop. During the first few years, soft coral and sponges start to appear along the superstructure. By the fourth year, soft coral covers the entire wreck. The presence of juvenile barracuda indicates a healthy spawning ground for these dominant predators.
In Koh Chang, Thailand, OAS member Tirakrak Pandit has sunken 3-meter-tall concrete elephants, creating an artificial reef system. The elephants will serve as substrate for corals to grow on and for fish to gather to find protection. Tilak uses the elephants as a sculpture because they are highly revered in Thai culture. Tilak also has a golden model made of paper mache, life-size, which he uses to travel around different schools in Thailand to educate children about the importance of environmental conservation and coral reefs of Thailand. Tilak's functional art serves 3 purposes: aesthetic beauty, educating school children about conservation environmentalism, and assists in rebuilding nature.
The coral is an amazing creature we have to take care of because that will mean also for mankind preserving our future.
The mission of the Ocean Arctic Society is to make as many people as possible aware that everyone needs to take an active role in the conservation of our coral reefs. We are only passengers on this beautiful planet, and so many people do not understand what coral reefs are or how important their survival is to all life.
Coral reefs are sanctuaries, not only for human exploration and entertainment, but primarily for sea life to live and thrive within.
This painting is about the potential of coral reefs. My focus is not on the problem, but the potential of the ultimate goal: healthy water, healthy reefs, and a healthy ecosystem for all. If we treat the ocean as a sacred sanctuary that it truly is, it will have a real opportunity to heal, replenish, and rejuvenate.
I volunteer a lot at the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary, and I use my art to educate and inform. For the past 3 years, I've painted a large 6 by 12 foot acrylic painting. In 2011, I created my interpretation of the top of the reef. The public came in on Ocean Discovery Day, and 162 beautiful canvases were created to make a fabulous mural. While everyone was painting, they could be heard discussing coral, fish, and of course, the sanctuary.
I encourage everyone to enjoy these beautiful corals in their natural habitat, but refrain from purchasing souvenirs from a gift shop. Pieces of coral on a shelf, although attractive, have largely been harvested from the ocean and bleached.
The coral reef system of the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary are formed by both spur and groove formations along the reef line and patch reefs in the shallower nearshore areas. Both are important to many commercially viable animals such as the gray and yellow snappers, black grouper, Spanish hogfish, and the spiny lobster. FKNMS seeks to find the balance of the commercial use, recreational use, geophysical change, and the proper sustainability of all the animals. Though it is a steep uphill battle, the dedicated scientists and skillful managers of the sanctuary are doing their best.